Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make an informed decision. And guys, I've uncovered a ISO20022 compliant crypto token. And they're not waiting for the banking reset. They're actually working with 50 banks right now, and they're onboarding new banks, new projects, and doing transactions right now. And this is a pretty good uh, spot to be in for Cosmos because as I research it, doesn't seem to be a lot of uh, competition right now in this sector. It's like their own little niche. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it kind of bothers me that from all the research that I do, and I eat, drink, and sleep crypto, that I didn't know that uh, Cosmos was ISO compliant, right? And also, a couple of weeks ago, I was shocked when Chainlink announced that it had been working with Swift for 2 or 3 years, and no one was talking about that. We're getting some incomplete information, and that bothers me. And the reason it bothers me is I'm not sure where to get good, solid information because I thought that was kind of a very confirmed thing. For whatever that's worth, and I'll work harder to stay on top of these new tokens because, quite frankly, guys, I think I've found 3 other ISO 222 compliant tokens. They're definitely working in the banking sector, but I'm not going to talk about those because I haven't confirmed. But I'll get that information to you as soon as I figure out exactly what that entails. Now, here's the good news. Cosmos, Atom, is working in the banking sector. And that is one of my favorite projects. When I first got into crypto, I found and discovered Cosmos, and I liked it and I started stacking it. However, I didn't understand tokenomics back then. And once I saw how BNB and Terra took off and they were built on top of Cosmos and they left Cosmos behind, I didn't understand it, but it bothered me and I knew something didn't make sense. Well, once I talked to some developers, I started to understand the tokenomics. Well, now I understand it very well. And the reason I have stacked Cosmos here recently is a couple of weeks back, maybe a month or so ago, they announced Atom 2.0. And they had a lot of changes. And the number one thing was how uh, uh, the tokenomics worked on the blockchain. And it got me excited because I truly believe it's one of the best layer ones. And I think, and this is not financial advice, that they're going to make up some ground on the next bull run. And after uncovering what I'm sharing with you right now, I feel even more confident. Again, not financial advice. Now, how many of you guys have ever heard of Providence Blockchain? I had never heard of it. But what it is, it's basically 50 financial institutions and it's growing every week. Um, this is actually a little old information. They're talking about how they're literally reaching out to their community uh, daily. Now, guys, this is not like the central banks. This is like your bank down the street. I'm not going to say mom and pop because some of them are pretty big, like the New York Community Bank. But it's not your big, uh, you know, global banks like Bank of America or Wells Fargo or a central bank. They don't really get involved in cross-border payments and all that stuff in a big way. I'm sure they do them. But this account sitting on top of Cosmos, guys, this is going to be powerful. And from what I can tell, they don't have a lot of competition. They're definitely the front runner in this section, in this sector. Now, here's the cool news, guys. They're basically onboarding mortgages, right? Now think about it. They are turning all the mortgages that they onboard into an NFT and a smart contract and putting it on the blockchain, right? And they're growing out other projects every single day. This whole group of banks have been just flying under the radar, and they literally have been getting awards, and they've had like 10 or 12 first in the industry that no one's talked about. Like they will custody your crypto, been doing it for a while. No one has talked about that, and I assume it's just because they're the smaller banks. It's not your JP Morgans uh, of the world. It's your smaller banks, and JP Morgan's not sitting there trying to, bring them onto their blockchain. They want the big national and global banks. And I get it, but this is definitely a good account to have sitting on top of your blockchain. Now, here's the crazy thing, and this is how I found this project. I was researching stable coins, right? Because we know there's a battle between like Binance stablecoin and Circle. Well, I saw this article and it said introducing the USDF consortium, and it said USDF is a bank minted tokenized deposit referencing fiat currency on the blockchain. And as I read down, it called it a stable coin. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I did a lot of research, and I still totally don't understand exactly what it is, because they call it a stable coin, and we can go with that, but it's not the stable coin as we know it. But the good news is, and I don't know the implications of this, but their stable coin is FDIC insured, and it's not worried about regulation or being compliant. They basically say it works the same. It does the same thing, just in a different way, for whatever that's worth. And quite frankly, I don't care about learning any more about that. I've spent way too much time trying to figure this project out, but it's pretty exciting. But I will stay on top of it, because in the future, guys, maybe we don't have a need for stable coins as we know it. I don't know. We'll see how regulation, sorts that out. But I do find it ironic that I found this information uh, as I was researching uh, about a project or about a video that I just created that talks about Circle and how Wall Street is literally has a plan to control and dominate crypto through using Circle. And if you haven't watched that video, which I just released before this one, I'll leave a link down below. It's a really good video, and it's a wealth of information of where blockchain may be heading. And it talks about JP Morgan and the Fed and Circle. It's a wealth of information. Anyway, guys, now check this out. They have staking with their own token, which is called hash, HASH. Now, I don't know the percentage or exactly how it works, but their staking goes through the bank. They will custody it if you want, but or you can do it yourself. However, it is FDIC insured, so they may be reorganizing how DeFi looks. I don't know. And as I was reading through some of the paperwork, and I just lost the where the information went, but they had alluded to what they called Reg DeFi, and that's regulated DeFi. So there's a lot of things in the works with these smaller banks, and who knows, guys, they may set the standard and set the bar for what the rest of the world uses. Who knows? But it's pretty interesting, at least I think so. Now, here's something really cool, guys. They are onboarding mortgages, right? But their NFTs are kind of set up a little different. Yes, it's a non-fungible token and a smart contract just like the rest. However, their smart contracts are basically compliant, and it will hold up in a court of law just like a deed would, or a title search would in housing. Guys, that's absolutely massive, and that is the future. A lot of people have been talking about it, and you hear, like a house being sold as an NFT here and there and certain things. But guys, from what I can tell, these 50 banks, which like I said are growing every day, they've gotten together and they've creating their own blockchain projects for exactly what they need. And these podcasts that I've watched, guys, they're moving forward pretty rapidly. They're onboarding new banks every day. They're building out the projects they need to accomplish what they need, and they're going about it not having to worry about regulation, right? Unlike everything else the crypto world's been worried about, these smaller banks in America are just trucking right along, doing their own thing under the radar, and it's pretty impressive. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to start stacking the hash token or not. I'll dig into it. It's not real liquid, but when I went through their paperwork, guys, they've already staked $9 billion onto their blockchain. That's pretty impressive. Now, as they bring these mortgages, onboard these mortgages, guys, that is the future, and that is going to explode. I would say, I don't know, the way it's going, 3, 4, definitely 5 years from now, pretty much every piece of property in America, if not most of the world, will be an NFT smart contract. Pretty sure. Now, let's talk about speed real quick. They can onboard right now 50 loans a second. Guys, we're not talking about payments. We're talking about loans. I'm in real estate, guys. To onboard a loan, to originate a loan, guys, the paperwork's like that. They can do 50 a second. That's 100 million loans onboarded a year. Guys, they're ready. They can scale. They can handle the future, and it's sitting on top of Cosmos. That kind of gets me excited. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm really curious what's going through your mind about the smart contracts. Like I said, or not the smart contracts, about the ISO tokens, because I really believe that I have 2 or 3 more that are probably certified or will be. But just so we all understand, guys, that ISO20022 certification or compliance, it's just a standard. I've created a video about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of tokens are not compliant by the time the deadline's up, which is like 2 years. If they're wanting to work in the banking sector, guys, all they have to do is implement the standard and they'll be compliant. It's not that big a deal. And unfortunately, because I've been stacking all the ISO tokens that we have been talking about, which everyone's been talking about for the last, say, year, I've been stacking those pretty aggressively. Now, I'm not going to sell them. I'm not worried about them. I think they'll do great, but I do believe that there's a lot more competition than we thought, and I definitely believe that how that reset happens, it's going to look a lot different than we probably think. But anyway, like I said, I think anyone stacking those, HBAR, algorand, quant, XRP, XLN, any of those, you'll be fine. Again, not financial advice, though. That's just my opinion. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're trying to grow this community, and we'd like you to be a part of it. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. And either way, guys, go ahead and hit that like button and come back, be part of this community. Take care, guys.